So there's as well one last topic that we need to discuss. Okay, so first is when it comes to our presentation. Okay, when it comes to our final project for consumer behavior. So as what I've said last time, so this is going to be um, it's going to be the major requirement. It would be almost to 100% again of the discussion that the requirement will come from this topic. Okay? When we talk about the entirety of the subject of the modules that we have, it's going to be a discussion with on the different areas na i-reflect nyo, that you need to reflect on your paper. So you are actually, okay, so there's actually no feedbacks na on the product, okay, that you have proposed, okay, for this project. And I guess may iban din man, okay, may iban pa actually na grupo, which I don't know if they have already tried changing the product that they have, because last night, as I checked on the submission of your class, there are groups wherein I actually suggested that they should change the product. I don't know lang if they already saw my comments or wala. Because may iban nga daw wala ko nakabati feedbacks from them or asking me questions about my comments. So I presume na at least may nakita sila nga product to replace that original product that they have. So kung wala na nila nakita and they are going to proceed with that product, natawon na lang kung anong matabo sa ulihi when they have already presented the final paper. Okay, so for those of you ladies who are here, I would like you to look to check on the message that I sent you, especially on the specific submission nyo on the due for midterm, because I made a comment for all groups, okay, regarding the product. There are groups na go na that their product is actually approved, and there are others, okay, other groups na may mga questions ako, okay, that I need to be clarified, wherein they might have some justifications, sometimes kulang lang maybe ang pagsunat nila sa papel, that I could not understand the concept. So may iban ko nga mga grupo that's what happened. May iban din explain la sa ako, okay, this is the justification. This made us believe that this product is unwholesome, this product is actually challenging. And after convincing me, then sige, go with the product. Okay? So, because kulang lang ang explanation on the paper. So, please do take time to read on my comments, because there might be a need for your group to consider changing the product. I am going to share you the screen, okay, because there are actually ang reason pag na delay ko na in the checking of your paper, because there are actually students who were not able to join a group. So, kung maggrado ko, hindi sila magduhan because wala sila nag-add sa nila sa grouping. So, as what I've said, as what I've mentioned last time, so I would like you to manually, okay, personally include your name to whichever group ka mo nag-belong. Okay, so these are the list of the students na wala pa grupo. I know that the twins, the Sugaton brothers, are actually category 1. So they will be submitting a separate work, a separate work because of the category nila. Simon is actually here, and I think he was able to send me a message that he belongs to a specific group. Simon, right?
Yes, miss. Upod ko miss sila. Miss Ninsanes, miss.
So what group is that?
So, 3, miss.
Okay.
Ayaw ko rin nga ano.
Kamune?
Miss.
Okay. So, you will be joining group 3. Charlene.
Thank you, miss.
Okay, welcome. What about Charlene? Charlene and Brian. Angel, Rose, and Kyle. So there are still 4 students na wala grupo. I don't know lang if these 4 are as well category 1, just like Peter and Philip. So please, if you happen to know these people, okay, and I hope they would actually take time man to listen to the recorded lecture para makita nila nga wala pa sila sa ilang nga grupo. If so, if they don't belong to the group, then I would like to assume that they will be preparing to individual yung submission nila because they do not belong to a group. Or unless the 4 of them will decide and they will be creating a new group, one group. Okay? So they can actually add their names sa final project too. Okay, so please do consider kamo mga RD, and if you happen to know them, please send them message that they need to join a group or else they're going to send an individual work. I think Simon, last night, Mon, you were able to receive message that you are going to have an individual work. No?
Yes,
That's
miss.
why the message mo ko. Okay. So same
Yeah.
message, actually it was sent to all. So I hope that they will take time man, okay, to reach out sa akon na to inform that they belong to a group. Okay? Or else, individual din ang kakon pag-isip sa ila. Okay, so individual work ang ilang isubmit. Okay, so that's for the groupings. Guys, although we have 2 modules, okay, for the end term, okay, so module 6 and module 7, as what I've said, okay, so let's check. For module 6 and module 7, what you are going to submit, of course, you have submitted, you have joined the different activities for, I think, for 6.2 and then 6.3. For the discussion, okay, for 6.5, elaborate, as what I've said, as what I've mentioned, you can submit this one next week, okay, because I am giving you actually enough time for you to prepare for the presentation next week. Our presentation will start next week, so Thursday next week. If in case we could not finish all groups, then it will be extended to Tuesday na, because Thursday the following a week after next week will be a shoot day, so we need to finish everything on Tuesday. I think that's second week of December. Basi 8, because it's December 8. Oh, holiday. Sige lang, because presentation lang manala siya. So para lang gid matapos ang aton nga discussion. Notice guys that the file I sent you in our group chat actually duwa ka rubrics. The first one is the rubrics for the e-magazine. Okay, I'm going to share you again this one. The rubrics for e-magazine, and then the other one is the rubrics for your presentation. If you would notice, duwa gid guys ka rubrics, because there will be 2 gradings ang aton nga igamiton for this one. This is the rubrics. Okay, this is the rubrics for your e-magazine. Okay, if you would notice, I have actually created the outline na gid what is expected from your e-magazine. So there's the main part, especially on the main part, ginbato-bato ko na, so which means I expect that all these areas should be included on your e-magazine. From the introduction, okay, may points ko assigned to each of the areas in your e-magazine. Even when it comes to the consumer psychological core, the motivation, the ability and opportunity should need to be discussed. Maybe even a paragraph, okay, a paragraph for each of this area would do. Okay, a motivation, magkabahog paragraph guys, paragraph in this sentence, nga 1 sentence lang ha. Okay, so it should be in a paragraph form, this psychological core of consumers, and at the same time when we talk about the values and lifestyle, and then the cultural issues. The cultural issues and cultural challenges, the cultural factors influencing consumers will have to be discussed after I discuss the requirements for the end term. And at the same time, of course, okay, if you would notice, I have actually included all areas here in our rubrics with corresponding points. The e-magazine creativity is as well graded. So that's 20% in a total of 100 points rather for your e-magazine. So 100 points, but that is only 70% of your end-term grade. Din mahalin ang 30% of your end-term grade. Mahalin niya siya on the remaining, okay, on the remaining submissions that you have, activities that you have, di ba, mga submission, kamo to sa mga box, okay, those screenshots, so those, you will be graded on that. So kung nakasubmit kamo to, laging problema, perfect, lagi to yung submission. And at the same time, other points, okay, will come from the presentation. So that's why ang presentation to, okay, so this is the presentation. The rubric for the presentation is here. Okay, if you would notice, guys, I'll make a correction on the rubrics that I shared with you. So these are, okay, this is actually nag-double. This is actually preparation, I think, and I forgot this one. Okay, it's about the PowerPoint, the visuals, okay, that you use in the presentation. Okay, how you deliver, actually, how you deliver visual presentation is different. How you deliver the report or the presentation. I added this one, okay, the preparedness and creativity, because you are expected that during your presentation, at least ready, very evident na ready ka mo for the preparation. As what I've mentioned, as much as possible, I expect all members to really be present during the presentation. Wherein, as what I've said, you are encouraged to have a recorded video so that everyone can contribute in the presentation. So if it's possible that you will have a Zoom meeting, record your Zoom meeting, and then pwede nyo din ma-upload man siya through in a YouTube, and then i-share na sa klase during our synchronous meeting next Thursday. Or if in case your classmates actually has a very low connection, pero makaya niya mag-selfie and mag-video sa self niya, they can actually do that and present and send that to other group members who will collate, okay, who will gather all the video recordings and put that into one file. Okay, ihimo niyo sa isa ka file para pag-show nyo as one siya nga video or as one siya nga recording. Okay, so I encourage everyone, okay, to really participate. So it's the only tangible evidence na makita ko nga you actually have done something and contributed in the presentation. So here, preparedness and creativity, the same points, 20, 15, and 10 points. So you are expected to really prepare, get updated in corporate, in informal, kaya mga corporate nga mga attire. Mas kami nga nag-isbabaw na lang makita ko lang nga, okay, you're ready for the presentation. Okay, and at the same time, your creativity. So this one, for the presentation, this is going to be 30% included in the 30% of your intern grades, together with the submissions that you have sa mga screenshots nito. And of course, the activity, the explain part on module 6. So that would be a composition of the 30% of your grade. Okay? So basically, dokadako isang bulk, okay, on the e-magazine. Pero 30% is 30% still. What is expected from you during your presentation? So it's just that a 15 rather, a maximum of 15 minutes na presentation. So 10 to 15 minutes will do. And everyone, okay, should really be involved in the presentation. So paano niya siya i-differentiate? Or what is expected from you during the presentation? You give the rationale, okay, you give the explication of the product, why you have chosen the product, you have to justify why your group, okay, considered that particular product to be sold to a certain market. You have to present, of course, all the challenges, all the issues surrounding that product that makes that product unwholesome, that makes that product undemanded by a certain market. Then after that, you have to discuss about your target market, ang mga issues ni target market towards that particular product, ang mga concerns ni target market, the safety involved, the security, let's say, involved in using that product. So you have to discuss that here. Because it is a pre-recorded lecture, okay, although, of course, there's one criteria on our presentation, on the visual presentation, it should be organized, clean, simple layout. I do not expect wordy, nga kadamo dito wordy gihapon sa inyong presentation because those narratives, those written nga mga wordy, nga mga explanation nyo should be reflected on your e-magazine. Ato siya sa kay e-magazine. Ang ato niya nga presentation is more on the oral presentation. So kumbaga, do kapiyo sa inyo in presenting your product. Okay? I encourage everyone to have limited words. Okay? Na limited lang siguro bullets, but you have to explain it on your own words as if you are very much familiar, to appear like you are very much familiar with the product that you are selling. Of course, you can do you can have the cheat word, okay? The idiot words on your desktop na dira kam actually nagalantaw sa inyo mga idiot inyo mga cheat words or cheat notes nyo on your laptop. But do not place that on your recorded, okay, on your recorded file that you are going to present, that or you're going to submit. Okay? So it's more on the oral na presentation ang ginagawa ko for next week, especially on next week. The written one should be reflected, of course, in your e-magazine. So Derea, it's more on your creativity and then the preparedness, the readiness of the group to present the product. So you have to discuss those. You have to discuss about why the product. You have to rationalize why you consider that product as unwholesome. You have to explain about your target market, who are they. Okay. And at the same time, of course, ang very basic yun is on the main part, talking about your target market. So you have to discuss about the psychological. Okay, so let me go back on that psychological, okay, the psychological core of the consumers, and at the same time talking about the values and the lifestyles of the consumers. So amo na siya ang inyo, okay, ang inyong nga i-discuss at the same time. Okay? So you have to be ready on the presentation. Okay, so again and again, please limit, okay, those words on your presentation next meeting. So it should be spontaneous lang yun, okay, that you are going to discuss about the product that you're going to sell to a specific, to an identified target market. So you have to explain why that target market as well. Okay? So at the same time, I forgot. Wala ko na show sa inyo ang hindi na guys nakita ang module 7. Why ko na-publish ang module 7, no? Can anyone verify kung wala ko na section D, right? No. Wala ko na publish, but okay, anyway, I am going to share my screen na lang as well sa inyo because there's one activity actually. There's one activity that you need to actually to answer, pero ginambaran ko na iba groups that there's no need for them to answer that and to submit that on Canvas because that will be included in our discussion naman lang. So I guess wala akong subok na di parahan that this was not published gali. This isn't published yet on your Canvas. But anyway, so this is a topic about culture, and what I've said, this is a topic which is really interesting. And at the same time, when we talk about your your project, okay, your final project, more gid ang issue that would be very relevant in understanding your market and on how they perceive about your product, and on how they created the learnings, learnings about your product may be brought by the culture that they have. That's why yung hambal ko, sige, ang iba, hindi pasugtan ko, hindi man na siya amuna kadelikado ng mga products. But the fact that that product is not accepted, is entirely in conflict with the belief of the market, then I may consider your group to sell that one, provided that you have identified benefits for that product that will make this market realize na somewhat may nami man sa gali, no, somewhat may benefit man kung dira makuha siya galing lang sa mga culture, galing lang it's the culture that dictates me, that created, that believes on me nga hindi ni sa pwede sa amon. But then having that, entertaining those thoughts, no, pwede galin niya sa amon, that would be actually do ka vacuum na, that could be an opportunity na nga possible me that I can as well sell this product, to that specific market. Because that's what really happened when we talk about the Muslim. Okay? Before, when we talk about this specific culture, we would really say that this is the market which do not eat a meat or pork. But then because of the development in the technology at the same time, nga naghambal sila nga, okay, as long as it is halal certified, as long as the process of slaughtering the animal, okay, may araw na sila mga rituals na ginaumra, as long as these things are being done, then they would consider nga, okay, that would be acceptable na for the market. So that means to say, nag-adjust naman sila, provided that may ara sila nga mga considerations, may ara sila nga ginapag-ubraan ay prior to selling the product to the market so that it will be accepted by the market. So nakako ang na siya, kumbaga may nakita kailangan nagapangduwa-duwa, may chance na siya to shift their beliefs, but the challenge there is that on how you are going to do that. Okay, so sometimes it's more on pushing the products to the market by stressing and highlighting those benefits that you will get from that product, that your market will get from your product. So muna siya ang mga considerations man in the culture. So basically, when we talk about culture, kadamo-damo give cultural differences. Okay, cultural differences wherein we would say that when we talk about globalization, okay, they would even say, okay, in a certain market, there is really a combination, there is really that uniqueness for each culture. And at the same time, there is that association nga maghambata, gani nga kung maghambata, when it comes to food, who are the best, what's the best country who is really good, or culture which is known or associated to be the best cook. So mabata, okay, so we have the French. When it comes to mga lovers, Italians is being associated. When it comes to cars, okay, technology, mechanics, so we would say that the best mechanics, car mechanics, would be the Germans. So mga association. But the reality is, we would even identify nga doon nag-mix na sila. Pero may mga distinct association na because of the past, okay, because of the learnings that we have in the past, okay, past experiences as well. So that's why, at present, when we talk about globalization, even in just one product, we could really say that it even came from different culture. So that's how very strong ang association with a different culture. So that's why, in your project, the moment that you have identified your target market, you need to do a research. Okay, you need at least to understand the behavior of this market, okay, or even try to look for a justification nga amo na sila mag-behave man. Okay? Because knowing the culture, knowing what influenced them as marketers, we can actually do something about our strategies. On our introduction, if you would notice, when we talk about Pepsi, si Pepsi mismo, they have to change their their concept on their advertisement from the 1980s to 90s to 2000. They have to shift because they know that they have different markets. And Subong, you need to understand who is your market and ano na sila ka really strict when it comes to their culture, when it comes to changing their behavior, sino ay na dapat na to na i-target first, nga maka-influence man sa ina nga grupo. So those are actually the different considerations because when we talk about culture, basically do generally mabasa, the younger ones can be easily swayed, can be easily influenced as compared to the older generation. So if you are able to identify that your target market actually are the younger ones, then that could be a justification na okay sa mga younger market lang kuya kaya nga sa post ni sila namon ma-convince abos ni sila namon ma-influence. Okay, so those are actually ang mga considerations in the culture. So here's the different types of the concept of advertisement for Pepsi. In the Live for Now campaign, which is the present advertisement of Pepsi, diba, uso gani ang YOLO, in your generation. It's really about happiness. You only live once, so you can enjoy life. Then prior to that, may lain-lain pag sila nga mga concept. So the choice of the new generation in the 80s, or you got the right one maybe in the 90s, so makita gid ang even the evolution of the concept based on the culture, the current the culture of the market that they are catering to. So when we talk about culture, actually, there's very strong when it comes to the beliefs of the market. This is one actually of the activities that we have. Pero wala isa nakapublish sa inyo. So never mind on this because may points ko siya. But then, sige, I'll check if other sections were able to submit on this. The engaged part, okay, so our different perceptions when it comes to dating. Sige lang, maybe a one or two from this class, two conflicting ideas about the engaged activity that we have here. Okay, here, this is about, it's more on the cultural differences and beliefs of different individuals. Well, we can say that even as Filipinos, divided na ang beliefs on certain things. Divided. Maybe because we grow up in a family which is very much conservative, or maybe we grow up in a family which is somewhat open-minded or let's say liberated, or we have as well exposure to different cultures. So nagavary man and nagalain-lain man ang beliefs when it comes to different issues in the society. So here's there's actually two questions that I have posed on our engaged part. Okay, so the first one is that men should always pay for their date's dinner. And the other one is that what would be the right age to get married? Can I hear one or two answers on these thoughts or ideas on this thoughts on these questions rather? Can I hear anyone? Any thoughts on this question? Should men always pay for their date's dinner? Or what would be the right age to get married? Siguro babae and lalaki. I can ask one from the girls and one from the boys group. Who wants to try? Simon, what's your thought on this? Men should always pay for their date's dinner. And then the other one, I want to hear Monica's opinion on that. And then Lance, si Lance pa makamipir sa like excuse mo na, Lance, can you answer what would be the right age to get married? And then the other one, Thea, can you answer for the second question? Sige, Simon will have to answer the first question about date.
I believe, miss, that men should pay for their date's dinner, miss, because it's a sign of respect or being submissive to each other.
It's a sign of submission, being submissive. It's men pays for the dinner. Mon, Monica, is Monica around? Wala si Mon. Rick, are you still around, Erica?
Miss, sorry, miss.
Rick, can you answer the first one? Do you think that men should always pay for their date's dinner?
In my own opinion, miss, dapat like 50-50 because good date pa lang pala, miss, like why pa miss marriage. So it would be good if half ang girl ma-pay and then half ang guy ma-pay. It shows, miss, na not only dependent as a guy, but you're also capable of paying for yourself.
Okay. At least no, that shows being not dependent to the guy. Okay, so dira kapag mo hindi ko yung mapalibis mo. Okay, I like that. I like that opinion. Okay, but Simon would rather pay for the date dinner. Okay, because that shows for him the submission. His submission. Okay, Lance, what about the second question? What will be the right age to get married?
In my opinion, miss, it would be best to get married after you finish your education and secured a stable job so that you may have a decent plan for the two of you in the future. And to lang to add, uh you have to make sure that as a perspective of a male, miss, you have to make sure that your wife in the future would be happy because there's a saying that a happy wife means a happy life.
Okay. So it doesn't necessarily mean what age, Lance, for as long as you are already done with your studies and you have already a
Yes,
stable
miss.
job. So
Yes, miss.
let's say kung stable job mo at the age of 22, you already have, you thought that you have already the stable job, would you consider marrying na, Lance? Let's say, may nakita ka mo, siya naging pakaslan ko, would you consider marrying na at an age of 22, 23?
Yes, miss. As long as you can provide a good life for her, miss. Nothing is
Okay.
impossible.
Okay. Thea, what about you, Thea? What will be the right age
Yes.
for you to get married?
For me, miss, mga around 28 to 30, miss. Kaya para sa akon, miss, as a female, bala miss, need ko pa I need to experience more and ganyan naman, ng damo pa ko may matun-an after graduate kag mag-enjoy pagid pala sang life, miss, before mag miss, ma-married ka, miss.
So you want to enjoy first. So let's say
Oo,
kami
miss.
stable job ka na at the age of 22 or 23 man, but sa mo ko hindi pa na kulang pa na
Oo,
dami
miss.
pag ubra ko for myself.
Oo,
So I'd
miss.
rather get married at the age of 28, 29 or 30.
Yes,
Okay.
miss.
Okay? You know what, guys? Listening to you, kita ko ang difference when it comes to sex, when it comes to male and female responses. Do ka more, how would you consider that? More conservative ang babayi in a sense that, more conservative in a sense nga daw ka, conservative and independent ang babae. They wanted to prove something. Okay, they wanted to prove something and they wanted to enjoy life. Ang lalaki, kasi kung may ara naman lang, sige, I can get married, I'm stable already, pwede na ko, kaya ko na ni. And at the same time, the answer of Simon, which is for him, yeah, it's a matter of it reflects to being submissive. If you are treating a girl for a dinner for a date, pero actually feeling ko na yamon ang ginabala nga ina nga mga impression ang mga sa mga lalaki. It's more on pleasing. Well, if we will put that on a positive light, it's more on pleasing, showing the person that you are special. So I'm going to free you because that's how special you are, diba? So that shows how special the person is, say by treating her into a dinner. Diba? No, kaya it's not siguro more on the submission, but it's more on showing the person the importance of that person sa imo.
Yes,
No
miss.
more than a tradition, no. Pero ako, I really agree with Erica. I really agree. That's the same man ako na beliefs ko when it comes to dating. Ako, I'd rather share man 50-50 man 50-50 man ko when it comes to dating because that impression hindi ko yung libre mo ya. O hindi ka naman kabana. That's really true. And I can afford and I can pay for myself. Kumbaga, I don't know lang if it's about pride sa mga babae or showing that we are independent as well. Is that to show this guys na we can afford na. Okay lang, thank you. Yeah, at the same time, okay, si Lance naman, it doesn't matter what age, pero as long as you think you are stable, then you would get married. But then I like the idea of Thea because I wanted to enjoy life pa. I wanted to enjoy um being single, enjoy life first. O let's say kung may nobyo ka, sige nobyo ka lang, I say no. Okay, but then you can still enjoy with your boyfriend. Pero getting married, maybe let's think about that. Okay, let's talk about that some other time. Enjoy lang tanay. So makita na ang difference. It is because of what we've learned as well, based on the experience, based on our beliefs, or even sa family makita ta. Okay? Sometimes we would say that other families will be considered as very liberated na sila, open-minded sila. And at the same time, iba man niya, lain man ng ilang subculture. We even call that a subculture. Basically, when we talk about the Filipinos, okay, Filipino culture, we could say that we are a mixed culture. We are influenced even by the Western. Ang influence ka makita being independent. That's why I even have a friend gagakadlaw ko nagayong ko na siya. Sabi ko, may COVID mang libre. And then, daw, he is in the US. And he would even see his friends. The moment ka siya ganun mag-invite, ang naman na yung perception because I invited them. So, because I was the one who invited them, then I have to pay for the meal. May ko pagkadason, nagwa naman sila. When I asked them, libre mo naman na. Sila nga, hindi, libre mo naman na ang sabat sa sakon. Although being invited siya ha, by an American, ng mga friends niya. Sige ko, libre mo naman na. Sila niya, hindi siya mga sila niya, why, sila nagkapanlibre ako, magwa ni ganaya. Kasi sila pa mga agad, it's KKB. Ano ko tinga akong ikaw ya nagalibre. Kaya ako ang nagang ng hagad. So, laylain actually nga perspective pa sila. Okay, so it's because of the culture. Pero most of these friends, with the moment na gani, na sila na mag-invite sa mga friends niya, mag-KKB sila. Okay, so lain-lain. And what's the importance of understanding the culture is actually, especially that we are in the business world, how we deal with a different culture. Because we are not just but thinking of having our business in a certain area. And if there's an opportunity for us to really grow and to go in the global market, then why not? So dira na ang mga concerns, dira na ang mga challenges if we are planning to go to the global market because we will be faced with a different culture. And at the same time, we have to be very careful because may ara sa iba nga mga even those gestures, even those actions which may give a negative impression to different cultures. We have to be very much aware, even on how we give respect to our business partners. Those are the things that we really have to understand if we go into the global market. That's one good thing. For 2 years already that we have our field trip abroad, wherein students get to be exposed with the culture, okay, with the culture of Singaporeans. Okay, we went as well to to Hong Kong. Okay. So lain-lain nga mga culture nila. Thailand, and at the same time, even there was uh, a native of Thai who was able to explain nga kita na naman ko there was one student na nagtatanong ko siya lain-lain sila magbow how lain-lain sila magbow nakita nila sa mga temple nga lain-lain ang mga actions magbow. It's because really different when they clasp their hand, okay? And then when they place their hand, pwede sila maibutang nila sa ilan ng sumabaw sang chan. There is a center, sa heart. There is sa may lips na yon. Sa forehead, nagalapo. Pag gani nangyayari sa may babaw. That signifies actually the different level ng person nga ila na gina-istorya. So if they are just but bowing using ang ilang hands on top of her stomach lagi dia somewhat basta level na nila ang person that they're talking with. Okay, so that's how they bow that's how they would bow kay ila kamot ara lagi. And then nagataas, okay, the parents, okay, the higher mga old sa mga lonas nila, and even ang mga gods nila. That's why the bow sa temple nagadukod-dukod sila and having their hands clasped on top of their head. Kaya sila magbow. So lain-lain because there is a very strong power distance, okay, in this particular culture. Because when we talk about, I'm going to skip on this because madala yun to this discussion with the cultural differences both in the communication and non-communication in the explained part. These are actually the different dimensions. I would like you to focus on these 8 dimensions of cultural values. So that is the example that I have given you, okay, when we talk about the size, very strong na sa power distance nila. That they give a distinction sa different levels or positions of individuals. So dira pinapakita nila okay, we're of the same level, we're friends, so pwede ka rin makabauta nga dira. Okay, so lain-lain na very strong power distance, just like us Filipinos. Nakita mo yan sa mga Pilipino siya nga kung manang kagid manong si lola si lolo si tiyay si tiyoy, okay, so may mga address gid ta, my mom my sir, ang iban pagid gani they would even be very conscious with their titles. You might have heard that on Facebook, okay, nga may ara nga isa nga gitawag siya nga sir, and then what was the reply to that person? I am not a sir, I am a lawyer. Call me attorney. Okay, so may mga amo nga very strong ang ila nga title because of that power distance. Na may distinction again because of the different degrees or achievements that they have in life. That's the Filipino. Although of course nakita na gaamat-amat naman, well, especially when it comes to the endearment sa mga houses, mga homes rather, wherein we would even call our siblings first name basis. Okay, pero ako I would remember when we were young, kung sigulang ang magulang ang ginatawag mo, so there should be manang or manong, kinadala ko din na astura subong, bistan ang mga driver na sa ginamanong manang ko. But the fact is, I am even older than them. Okay, pero dadala ko na bala because ka very strong with some power distance. Okay, so other would be in terms of individualism. Okay, so here, it's what really matters to you is that yourself. Okay, that's why the self-reliance, okay, individual initiative, or even the personal achievement, okay, that could be very strong ang individualism ni Thea. So kumbaga, basta na ko yung mga family ako ko na yung ako ng self, may enjoy ko for myself. Strong daw yung individualism, na dimension. Ang iba naman yan, they really find it, they find comfort in other people. So grabe naman na ilang social interaction, ng ilang social relationship, and that would be on the collectivism. For us Filipinos, generally, our culture as a Filipino for the Asian is more on the collectivism. That's why very close family ties. Okay? So, we really wanted to be with friends, circle of friends. And that's the collectivism that is being reflected in the collectivism. And what other people say really matters. So, we get affected with what they say. That's the collectivism. Kung individualism naman like that of the Americans, that's why they will say, it doesn't matter kung anong hambal sa iba ng mga tao. What is important is that I'm happy, I am enjoying life. That's the individualism. It's more on self-love. Okay, what really matters is that you are enjoying and you are happy. Okay, so that is the first dimension. The second one is when it comes to the masculinity. Ang iba nga country is very masculine. So it's a matter of how do you describe the masculine attribute. And at the same time, iba naman yung the femininity nila, the side. So here in this case, when we talk about even with the use of gadgets, men, okay, that's why it could be described in how men behave. That when we talk about the masculinity, what they are after too is that quality, okay? So ilan ay gina-consider nga that product could really stay long. And then, ang mga babae naman niya is more on the is more on the physical, okay? Mga aesthetics naman ang gina-consider. That's why they would even say that in Japan, okay, it's more on the masculinity ang ilang culture. Why? Even how they make products, how they manufacture products, they always consider quality. That even when buying kuno laptop, ang ilan ang consider is the functionality of the product, the functionality. Because otherwise, kung ang femininity naman niya, it's more on the aesthetics, and doon ka na isang color. Okay, so dira naman it's more on the emotional naman. That is how they would describe the femininity dimension of a consumer. Okay? And at the same time, when it comes to the uncertainty, why do you think Thea would prefer to get married at a later age after she enjoyed life? Or what do you think Lance would consider having a stable job, okay, before getting married because of uncertainty avoidance? Kung baga, gapaniguro ka. Okay? Gapaniguro ka for your future. So you wanted to avoid risk in the future. So that's why, mano ka na atiyuhon ko ni anay nga may ara ko. May makatindog ko on my own. Maka-enjoy na ko life ko. So that is as well with the uncertainty avoidance. Even when we talk about the products that we are buying. Ang iban would really buy the product that has lesser risk. Even if it's mahal. For as long as mambal siya, nga at least hindi siya maguba. Or hindi kami ni masunog. Okay, mambal ka nga, okay, bakal ko, let's say, a gadget. And then, it's China, the impression that we have with China. And then, mambal ka, basi na siya malupok, basi na siya mainit, or basi na siya maguba. So, that's the risk. So, what's the culture naman of how we describe rather a country with a very high uncertainty avoidance is that they would prefer buying products now with lesser risk because they are not certain of the future, so might as well alam this country I will be paying more for as long as I get lesser risk on this product than okay, nabakal ko na, isa na ko siya kamahal. Okay? And at the same time, okay, when we talk about our long-term orientation, we think of the rewards in the future. Okay? Long-term rewards over the short-term benefits. Okay? So same as consumers, we do consider that. Imambal kasi ilaw ay sa sabor sini okay lang short term pero may benefits siya in the long run. Okay? Or mahal ni siya, okay, but then may benefits siya in the long run. Okay? So there is that long-term orientation. Or I would invest subong because lesser lang siya ang cost and eventually mataas siya ang value. So that is as well the long-term, okay, the long-term orientation. Okay? So may ara. That could even describe as well our behavior, okay, as consumers. So these are actually the dimensions that you could even use in analyzing the market that you are going to, where you are going to sell that undemanded or that unwholesome product. Pwede maganda siya. Okay, magamit siya yun ng mga dimensions. Okay? So here, basically, you can just read on this note, okay, the cultural distance. Okay, the cultural distance when it comes to countries naman ng mga ethnocentric. Sometimes naman ang challenge nila is that there are countries which is very centered, ethnocentric, wherein they always believe that their products are better are better than other countries. So, grabe ang ilang ethnocentrism. Ka-centered to the countries. Ang India, ang other naman. Ang other nga mga countries. So, that's the ethnocentrism. Enculturation here. Enculturation, just to differentiate these two. When we talk about enculturation, this is the stage or this is what would describe our culture wherein those are the learnings that we live or generally the culture that we have learned in our native land. Okay? So, na-inculturate. Tapos may mga bata, gawa wonder. Grabe mga bata. No? So, una, I could remember, I love to eat Japanese food. So, mamian ko na yung gatala lang ng ilong ko kung magwasabi na ko. But when my parents, when my mom and aunt tried that, nang matingala, ginas ano ni ginakaon nyo, hindi nila ya me and my cousin na giduwa lang kita sa balay makauyon sila sang may masang wasabi because sila hindi na sila kauyon. And then there was one video makita ko balang tawa bala mao amo ni siyang wasabi ngay mo nga hindi mo nauyon na sa ligay pero ang bata pa nangagamay yung grabe man sa pasaw-sawon sa wasabi. Okay? It is because it is already inculturated sa ila. Okay, that's the nature na ginilaya. Okay? On the other hand, when we talk about the acculturation is that our tendency to adopt secondary culture. Like ako, it is already that action would describe an acculturation of the Japanese taste sa akon. Because I love that. Of course, when we consider siguro sa una, hindi mo na mauyunan. But then, because of the fact na the exposure mo towards that product, so feeling the ganami ang pagkaon, having that wasabi. So that's why it is already acculturated. That's why they would say that comparing now the market, the younger ones could be easily acculturated. Hapos na sila maka-adapt sa secondary culture nila. Okay? Other than the native culture, may second culture pa din na sila. When we talk about as well the younger ones as compared to the older generation, may ara pa na sila ng mga classifications man kung sino ang can be easily acculturated. As Filipinos, hindi tayo ethnocentric. Hindi tayo ethnocentric. We don't believe that our product is better than the imported one. It's the other way around. Kung magkita ta ganing imported na siya, mas mahal kay mas mayo na siya sa pananawan ta. Okay? So in that way, they easily acculturated because we are not ethnocentric. Okay? So those are the things na pwede nyo siya magamit in the discussion of the culture of your consumers. And basically, ano mga institutions that would influence our culture. So these are the quartet of institutions, our family, our school, the church, and even the media. Generally, subong, it's about the media. Okay, our exposure to the different Asian cuisine, it is because of media. Okay, so that's why easily acculturated ang mga Filipinos. Okay, I guess we can end our discussion here. The modeling, shaping, tapos naman the verbal communications and then the non-verbal communications. Other countries like us Filipinos, we are more on the mahilig ka manghatag gift. And of course, mahilig mo ka mag-receive sa gift. That's why if you are dealing with partners abroad, usually, mga Filipinos may ginag-give na sila something. Asians generally are like that. That's why I remember every time that there will be seminars abroad, okay, sa mga teachers, we always bring with us something to that host country nga may ihatag gina sa ila. Okay? At the same time sila, may ginapabalon na sa ila. May napabalod na sa rather sa ibang mga countries because we love giving gifts. But other countries are not particular with that. So you need to understand. Other countries may even get offended if you give them something. Because para sa ila, may gina-expect ka. Okay, kumbaga, ang iba naman yan, the impression, do ginag-bribe ka. So those are the things we have to be very careful. Okay, so anyway, the topic on culture will be discussed when you will be having your international marketing. This is a very interesting topic on culture, okay, for marketing. because we are expected to go global, and we expect as well to deal with the different cultures, different people. So I guess that ends my discussion. Are there any question or clarification?
Miss,
Yes, Lan.
about Miss sa pre-recorded presentation, bali Miss hindi na usaron na mo ng i-magazine. Bali do mga
Hindi.
PowerPoint presentation na Miss.
PowerPoint presentation, pwede gid Lance. Pwede ka mo ka PowerPoint presentation, pero hindi wordy ha. So dapat mis ka nakaano pa lang siya, nakapanawag, naka-bullet lang siya. And then a very short lang explanation because the bulk gid will be on your e-magazine unless ang isa ko da kanwas kung tapos na gid ka mo. So kung tapos na ka mo nang i-present, you think okay. Pero you're given a chance pa you still have 2 weeks to finish your e-magazine. Unless your group is already okay now with the presentation with your e-magazine, then okay, sige, mas i-allow ka mo. So it's just going to be your final na position. Pwede gid. Tapos na ka mo lang sa
Lapit na lang Miss.
Okay. So if that's the case, sige, then I would allow. Pero hindi ha, please do not read. Do not
Pero
read
ano galing Miss, ang amon i-magazine do ka wordy Miss, pero mas namin na lang guro nga kubrahan na lang PowerPoint para do ka limited lang words Miss.
Yes, oo. Limited lang. Kung para ka mo lang nga sila, hindi ka sure, bala nga nag-discuss ka mo without reading on the text. Ang maganda ang gina-discourage ko. Do not read the text.
And about gali Miss sa content Miss, same lang na Miss sa i-magazine. Okay. Thank you Miss.
Kung let's say may time pa ka mo expound, okay, ang isa na lang content. Pero sa e-magazine niya, ma-narrate niya pa din siya, ma-expound niya siya gamay.
Thank you Miss.
Okay. May ara pa? Question or clarification? Basta just limit your presentation to 15 minutes. There are 5 members in each group, so at least di ka maka 3 minutes ka mo kada isa. Or ang isa, dang mo huluyaon, 1 minute lang saya, kaya 5 minutes din. Para at least makita ko man sila nga they participated in the presentation. Ano pa yun? Some more question? Clear na? Wala na naman ko? Wala na? I guess, wala na siguro, kaya hipos na. So, we can end our discussion here, and I'm going to share this recorded video on our group chat para ang iba nga wala naka-go online, they can listen to the instruction as well. Okay, so that's all for today. With Jesus in our hearts forever.
Forever.
Okay.